This right here gonna be a cakewalk.
If you guys remember when Harada was announced at PlayX4, Harada also did a Q&A that was in Korean. We translated that, we talked about all the different things in the video, but the community is still processing this information because it was in a different language, so people were discovering this at different times. Right now, the whole entire community just realized the single player aspect that was hinted at. Now, even though I talked about this back then, I kind of want to retouch on it now because we see what Street Fighter 6 is doing. We hear whispers and rumors and even some confirmations of what Mortal Kombat is doing. So now that we're getting a little bit farther into the development cycle of these games, I think it is a good time to revisit this topic and talk about what is best for Tekken 8 to do. First up, let's look at what the competition is doing. One of the major arguments that I made in the past is that Tekken 8 should definitely do a Tekken Force, a Devil Within, some kind of open world exploration, because if Street Fighter has one with the World Tour, and then if Mortal Kombat has one with the Crypt, they have to do something to compete as well. But now with Mortal Kombat 1, we have confirmation that the Crypt is basically gone. The news article says Mortal Kombat will bury Crypt system. And the quote directly from Ed Boon says we have a whole new system. But also too, the reason why I think they scrapped that is because the Crypt system turned into something, this huge elaborate project that not that many players played. Putting the Crypt for Mortal Kombat 11 aside, let's talk about Street Fighter 6, the World Tour. I'm not going to say Street Fighter 6 World Tour is bad, it's just not for me. When I think of Street Fighter, when I think of playing a game, that's not the experience that I want. But also too, there is a big portion of the Street Fighter 6 player base who love that game mode. I just watched the Donkey video just a second ago and he was talking about how amazing it is. I want to see how long the World Tour mode lasts, if it's something that you just play at the beginning and then forget about, or if it's something that people actually like go back to. But in terms of Tekken 8, the question is, should Tekken 8 do like Street Fighter 6 and step into the exploration, or should they step out and just focus on the game itself, maybe revamp the customizations or unlocks like Mortal Kombat is doing? Which path should Tekken 8 go down? This brings us back to the interview, and I want to read a clip of it. Apparently, Tekken 8 might come with a very full single player package, and basically Ikeda has put his heart into it. One of the interviewers there at the Q&A, they say the upcoming Street Fighter 6 also has a voluptuous single player mode. So the recent fighting games have been paying a lot of attention to single player content. I wonder if Tekken 8 will also add content like Tekken Force mode that existed in the old game. Now, Harada responds to this question and he says, I think the value in games varies from user to user. There are users who think playing a game for a long time is important, while there is users who feel that there is a great value in terms of playing and having fun. As such, they are all different. But this Tekken 8 has a lot of additional elements because it will be released as a home version first. It will be fully prepared in terms of time, volume, and content. To say more, it's hard to explain, but the people at the top, but the people like the director Ikeda have turned up the volume more than I thought. Now, Ikeda is a very important part of the Tekken 8 development lifecycle. He is the person who makes the trailers. He is the person who basically puts all this stuff together. Like Harada would say, let's try this out, and then Ikeda would get it done. And you can see here how Harada, he probably said like, hey, let's do some story, let's do some Tekken Force, let's do something. And then Ikeda was like, gotcha, Captain. Turns around, goes to the team, and then he whips up something amazing, and then he brings it back to Harada, and he's like, wow, this is so much more than what I expected. That's kind of what Harada is saying here. Like, he gave the order was completed, and now what they have as a finished product is more solid. And now what is that? What is that single player content that has the developers so excited? Regardless of whatever name they give this single player mode, it needs to be modernized. A lot of the modes, Tekken Force, Devil Within, and all of those have been out of the game for many years now. Tekken 5, Tekken 6, so old now, and we need to modernize them and add a lot of the things that we come to expect into those modes. Yes, I think single player should be a huge aspect of it, but a missed opportunity I feel in Street Fighter World Tour is a online aspect. Being able to run around with at least 3 other people would be amazing, especially if you're doing Tekken Force where this isn't really necessarily story, but it's more so fun. What's the best way to have fun than to have fun with friends, family, and just people you meet online? Depending on how much resources they put into this game mode will determine a lot. Everything that we know about Tekken 8 so far, the game is very expensive. So how much budget can you realistically put into a Tekken Force without it ending up how I feel like Street Fighter 6 World Tour? It's definitely has potential, but you can see that they cut corners here and there. And me personally, I want them to cut corners with a Tekken Force or something. If you're gonna do it the best it can possibly be.